Annette McGee, former commissioner, would you do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'd be honored. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon.
I'm here as well.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffries.
Here.
Brings up item number 4, which is correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence to come before this commission today?
We do. Fire District 3, 16, and 12 sent their budget resolutions. Fire District 5, North Mason Fire Authority, and the City of Shelton sent their levy certifications. John Pye applied for the Planning Advisory Commission, and the Board of Hood Sports submitted their 2016 final budget.
Thank you. Item number 4.2, news release. Winter 2016 Heritage Grant Cycle staff, Mike Sims.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mason County Commissioners and the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission are pleased to announce that applications are being accepted for the Winter 2016 Mason County Heritage Grant Cycle. On behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission administers the Mason County Heritage Grants Program to assist projects that promote the public's access to county history. The program is funded with a portion of document recording fees collected by the Mason County Auditor. The allocation of these funds for projects that promote historical preservation or historical programs, which may include preservation of historic documents, is authorized under RCW 3622-170. The revenues accrue to a dedicated fund and may not be used for any purpose other than those stipulated in the statute. Grants in the amounts of up to $5,000 may be awarded to qualified organizations for professional development, public education, small capital projects, collections management, heritage investigations, and historic preservation. This is a reimbursement grant. It is very important that organizations considering applications for this grant read the grant guidelines and other details on the Mason County website. Grant applications are available on the Mason County website. Proposals can be mailed to the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission at 615 West Alder Street, Shelton, Washington, and postmarked no later than December 31st, 2015. Applications may also be hand-delivered to 615 West Alder Street no later than 3 p.m. on December 31st, 2015. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up is item number 4.3, which is a Planning Advisory Commission vacancy. Staff, Barbara Atkins.
Thank you. Barbara Atkins, Planning Advisory Commission vacancy. Mason County is seeking an applicant from Commissioner District 2 for Mason County Planning Advisory Commission. The Planning Advisory Commission is a 7-member citizen board appointed to advise the Board of Commissioners on policy related to amendments to the Comprehensive Plan, Shoreline Master Program, and land use regulations. Applications, the Commission typically meets once per month on the third Monday at 6 p.m. with special meetings scheduled as necessary. Appointed commissioners normally serve a 4-year term. Applications to serve on the board are being accepted until the position is filled and should be submitted to the Mason County Commissioners, 411 North 5th Street, Shelton, Washington, 98584. Application forms may be obtained from the Commissioner's office or by calling 427-9670 extension 419 or by visiting the county's website.
Would you give us a brief description of District 2?
Of District 2?
Yeah, or one of the commissioners here to do that.
Sure. Well, District 2 is the largest district of the 3. It's bigger than 1 and 3 combined. It goes from the Jefferson County line on the west side of the Hood Canal all the way down through Little Wap, Eldon, Little Wap, Hoodsport, Potlatch, out through out down to Ells Hill, and does not take in any of the incorporated area of the city of Shelton, obviously. So big area.
To Camelchi.
Very rural. Camelchi, yeah.
So if you live in those areas, for those that are watching, please consider putting in applications. It is truly one of the most important, if not the most important, advisory committees that we have.
I agree. I agree. Land use planning is what county government is very much responsible for, implementing our Growth Management Act. Plus, my opinion is that it helps us understand where we can grow our commercial as well as residential businesses. And I think that people in your district need to be concerned about where can we grow some of our commercial industries in the Pittsburgh area.
And most of the complaints that we probably receive could be handled by being a member of that particular group and having your own input brought in at that time instead of after everything is put forward. So please consider it.
Mr. Chairman, were you a planning commission member?
For several years, I was the chair.
Commissioner Jeffries was, and I was back in the 80s. So all three have served on the commission, so it's very important.
Well, oddly enough, that's where you start figuring out in order to get something done, you have to sit in that chair or then that chair. That's how these things happen, and then you regret it forever. I'm just kidding. It's hard. You do your job, and hopefully it all works out.
You get the secret handshake.
That's right. They're going to tell it to me one of these days. Commissioner, you're going to have to share it with me one day. Okay, with that being said, we'll go ahead and move on. Oh, is there any other correspondence or organizational business to come before the body? Then with that being said, we'll move on to the open forum for citizens input. This is your opportunity to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, we ask that you please wait and speak about it at that time. If it's on the consent agenda, you'll have it taken off and you'll be given an opportunity to testify. But if it is not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to speak on any of those issues. But please, there's a 15-minute time limit maximum. It is appreciated if you can keep your comments down to 5 minutes maximum per person. But preferably even less than that because there's others that want to speak and we have to hold a little tighter than we have in the past. With that being said, is there anybody who would like to speak right now on an issue not on the agenda? From the Commissioner Bloomfield.
Go ahead, you're first.
Yeah, Steve Bloomfield, Southeast 391 Dahman Road in Sheldon, in Commissioner Sheldon's district. And I agree, that's a very important slot that needs to be filled. So if you got the wherewithal, please do it. I'm here to speak, though, more generally about the Mason County Historical Society. And there's a group of us here today to speak to the issue that we have addressed to the Commission a little over a year ago, I believe, about obtaining some land from the county on Highway 101 out near the Public Works facility for an expansion of a heritage-type museum out there. I can envision a nice kiosk, pull-off museum there with some logging equipment set up. Maybe we can yard a log around the yard, maybe an old shell fishing boat stuck on a pedestal. Let's talk about our heritage a little bit. Now, we, at the time, a year ago, we had decided to meet with Skookum Rotary a little bit, and we did. We thank you for that opportunity. And we talked with them. It was very productive. We appreciated it. But we also need to move on. We can wait forever and get nothing done, or we can start advancing forward. It's time to start advancing forward. With that, I'll leave it to Annette if she chooses.
Annette, please. Feels like a wrestling match.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Annette McGee, 1961 Southeast Cole Road. It's always a pleasure to be here in front of the commissioners. Democracy in the making, let's put it that way. I'd like to introduce our treasurer, Dave Daly, back there, board member Vern Honstein, board member and worker at the museum, draw blank, Charlie Fisher. Those things happen. They happen quite frequently. You thought I'd go away because I haven't been here in about a year.
No,
But
I don't think anybody up here would ever imagine you would quit on anything. We know better than that.
I'm wondering, number one, if anything has been, and I don't want you to answer it right now, has been said about it. I do want you to answer it in a minute. Had been any discussion actually has taken place between the commissioners on the request. When I was in here before, I gave you a lengthy report and I handed it to you. It was 3 pages about what the actual Historical Society and the museums did. You came forth for us, and at that time we were in the process of getting out of the fairgrounds too, and you did come forth for us and give us an area to store some equipment. That is our problem. We have 4 storage places of what's been given to us, the heritage of Mason County. A lot of the people are gone now, and what they gave to us, they gave it to us in earnest, that we would display it and show the way of life in the past, whether it be shellfish, whether it be logging, whether it be farming, or what. At that time, I was also asked to deliver you a letter, and a lot of water has gone under the bridge, and I haven't been active. But when I appeared the last time at the Mason County Commission, I got the feeling that I was kind of put off on the request, and I'll go to the request in a minute. Many things have happened, like I said, since that appearance, and I won't go into detail about what it was, but since that time, have any of you been in the museum lately? We have remodeled that museum to the point where we can be proud of it. You can be proud of it, the citizens of Mason County, thanks to Simpson Timber Company. And also the Preservation Board also gave us a small grant. We were able to have new counters built. We were able to have blinds put up that will protect the artifacts in there, proper blinds. We are in the process right now of getting the lighting squared away, so that's taken care of. The flooring has been changed. It's just generally been cleaned up, and we are wholeheartedly proud of it. And we hope, I think you're all chamber members, we hope that you'll be there December 16th to view what's happened down there at that museum. But it's not big enough. We need a place, and we thank you for providing this space at the fairgrounds. We also thank you, as Mr. Bloomfield, Commissioner Bloomfield did on talking to the Rotary. But it's just, we've really got a problem. We have people asking, where's people that are still alive and elderly? Where's the saws I gave you? Where's this? Where's that? We don't know where they are. We have storage. 4 places. We feel that the Historical Society cannot wait if we're going to build, and we definitely need our own land in order to go and get grants, as you well know. If we have grants, if we have land, there are grants out there. Our plans are to establish a building that would be a heritage museum showing off past history of agriculture, logging, shellfish industry, mining, tribal history, and the way of life in the past. Once again, we are here to ask you, become a partner with us and grant us 10 acres parcel of land at the County Public Works Building, by the County Public Works Building at the corner of Highway 101 and 102, of course, the Dayton Airport Road. This would be a great location, as Steve said, to attract tourism. Maybe even, our dreams are maybe even having a coffee shop there, or, as he said, an outdoor logging display, shellfish display. We've told you before, we presently have many artifacts of our history in these 4 storage places. We're dedicated to provide the preservation of such artifacts, equipment, antiques, and displays that represent our towns, villages, settlements, businesses, institutions, industries, and just plain historic. Please join us in being a partner and see that we can have 10 acres of land so that we can go out and get this information. I was asked also to provide you with a letter, and I'm going to provide you with a letter on that particular request. Thank you very much.
Any questions, commissioners?
Well, I just mentioned, I have to disclose I'm a life member of the Historical Society, and I have to say, when my dad died, we also had storage. We had four storage units that I had to maintain for years for all the junk he collected, and I know the problem. You need a place for it. So I've always believed that is the best place for the Historical Society to build on its traditions and have a facility. So I'll pursue it with my fellow commissioners, and I think that, I can't speak for them, but I think our new facilities person can get out there and take a look at that property. And, you know, the history of that property, for a long time it belonged to the state of Washington. It was a WSU Cougar in honor of you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Scientific trust, that the benefits of that land were for the university. And it was traded to Mankey in a very large land trade, and then of course acquired by the county when we traded for the old shop down on Johns Prairie Road. So it's flat, it's level, it's served by utilities, it's so visible. I think if we gave a portion of that property, 10 acres, to the Historical Society, and it was cleared, the timber, there's not much timber on it, it's mostly pine. But if it was cleared and a sign was at least erected, and people knew that there was something coming along, that's what you need. And as you mentioned, you need to have the possession of the property so you can ask for some state capital funds, perhaps, or other heritage monies. There's dollars out there. I met yesterday with some of the Port of Allen people about the old oyster house, Sergeant's Oyster House, and they've got that moved over to the port property now. That's going to be an attraction. People want to stop. That's a wonderful spot. It's so visible from the highway. So I want to thank you again for coming in. I'm enthusiastic about it, and hopefully we can, in 2016, we can make some real progress.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Is there anybody else who would wish to speak at this time on issue not on the agenda? We ask, sir, that you please keep it short. And
I'll sure try, sir. Thank you. Pat Burke, 851 West Golden Pheasant Road. At the last workshop I attended here, the subject of abatement came up. And there was some conversation about, Commissioner Sheldon was talking about finding a real rough old secretary or somebody that could, you know, be kind of the bulldog head of an arrangement where abatements could get done. And in a conversation I had with my friends and neighbors next door, Ernie and Gary Schreiber at Rural Sporting Goods, the subject of a person, or what do you call it? You're looking for this person right now. Code enforcement person came up, and Gary says to me, he says, well, he says, actually, Pat, he says, if you look at it, he says, we've got about 83 code enforcers out there in uniforms. And we started to talk about that, and I know the sheriff also says, oh, no, we can't, well, no, we don't know anything about that. Actually, I think it's really a good idea. A lot of the problems I found when I tried to get something done up in our area with your health department is that I felt underlying problem was that these people were afraid to confront these people that are doing this, especially the ones when they know they're a bunch of junkies. And I was thinking that, you know, for instance, I walk into the health department with a complaint that is quite obviously they know what I'm talking about and what's involved. Why couldn't the health department send a request over to the sheriff's department to have a car drive by, take a look at what my complaint is, take a couple pictures, because they all got cell phone cameras, small report, give a copy of it back to the health department to look at, and from there, that could be forwarded on to the prosecuting attorney if it has to go that far. In the event that an officer drops in, they do a knock and talk. If somebody's there, talk to them, tell them why they're there, present them with a piece or two of paper that says, here's why we're here, here's what's going to happen if you don't do X, Y, and Z. I mean, if I can walk into the sheriff's department and give them $40 to serve somebody, to take them to court, I don't know why a sheriff's officer can't go out and take a look at a problem that needs to be addressed, and it would provide a margin of safety for our health department workers. And if we had somebody like a paralegal that worked right in the office of either the health department or maybe even in the attorney's office, that would get to look at all the copies of whatever these complaints come in, could analyze them, and then prefer them for charges or for cleanup or abatement. And I think the main thing, as you all know, I'm very interested in seeing Mason County get involved in a vigorous abatement program to start cleaning this county up. All you got to do is take a look at cities like Detroit and see what they did to their urban areas with the drugs and no work for their young people and so forth. And basically all we're doing out here is we're building ourselves a rural ghetto when you get right down to it. So I wanted to pass that suggestion on to you because I listened to you folks talking, it sounded like nobody really had explored that issue for a while, and there were still a lot of questions about it. And somebody that has a paralegal experience would also be able to trot things over to the judges to get signed and to supervise how the abatement or the corrective procedure that was going to be done on the property. But this is an urgent problem, and I hope to see some action. I really do. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Well, Mr. Burke, I just wanted to let you know that as urgent as this is, there's also some moving parts that we're working on. First of all, we had made an arrangement, we thought, with the sheriff's office that they would assist in the code enforcement piece of that, and how that's working, we haven't heard back. But that was, in fact, even had a specific line item budget for it. But as far as code enforcement, how that will look, and the idea of a paralegal and prosecuting attorney, all that will come about around our consolidation of our public health and our community development departments. And we're hoping to have that process all designed by the new director.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
By the new director at some level with what will be a planning criminal assistance manager that will also manage the code enforcement piece of it. All of us are very interested in putting more teeth in it, very much so. And we are hiring, but at the level of the person doing the code enforcement. But there's so many other pieces when we're redesigning this program, first and foremost, to get a merger taken care of, and then have the directors.
When do you feel that merger will take place?
We'll be putting out, we've approved the merger, we're putting out a call for a director towards the end of this year, early part of next year. And then there's 2 manager positions that need to be hired out.
They've been all funded and it's all a go, pretty much?
Pretty much.
Okay. Well, thank you. We're checking on that. Appreciate it.
Commissioners, I have there's a, Sheriff, hold on 1 minute, please. I'm going to ask on this. There's a question from the undersheriff. He wants to say something, and it's out of the ordinary, but I'd like to allow him a minute as a citizen. Are you comfortable with that? Please, undersheriff.
Yeah, I just wanted to address Mr. Undersheriff Jim Barrett, Mason County Sheriff's Office. With regard to Mr. Burt's comments about utilizing deputies to go out for safety functions of any county employee, that's never been an issue. We always keep that open. Health Department has a valid concern that the people they're going to go visit or even building, they can call and say, for X, Y, and Z reasons, we have a safety concern. Could we get a deputy to do a standby in the area while we make contact? That's always been an open process, and we don't have a problem with that. Sometimes it's not exactly according to the schedule that the requesting department might have, and we may have to wait for a deputy to clear his call to get there, but that's never been an issue. With regard to the code enforcement, yes, there was a position, there is an item, it's a CSO, but we went over vetting out the legal issues that we could rightly, community CSO that was part of that code enforcement. They can go out and identify things that may or may not appear to be code violations and report that back to code enforcement. But there are some legal issues about, until they get hammered out, about whether a CSO has the authority to act as an enforcement officer. So, you know, the issues of going onto property without proper warrants, without probable cause, all those issues we have to deal with. So they can be utilized to help identify problem areas, to help coordinate areas, but they're not until certain ordinances or other issues changed. We don't have the ability to send them out and act as enforcement officers. So those are a couple things that need to be clarified, that until we move forward in the process we discussed earlier, how we utilize our staff for that function still has to be worked out.
I'd like to add something on to that. I've given this a lot of thought. As you remember, I believe that was the place we should have went a long time ago. We even funded it, but we still never got there. But I still think it's the way it should be handled, it should go. Somebody made a comment to me that I want to share with you, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. When it comes to codes, any codes, the one who does have authority is the police officers to enforce our codes. Us as commission, we create quite a few different rules and laws. It might be a speeding zone, it may be a no shooting zone, and put it into code, and it is the sheriff's department that acts upon that. So with that in mind, I'm sure there's a lot of leeway if we choose to actually move into action on it in some manner. And even a beginning, in my opinion, would be a great start.
I would refer to our legal advisors about whether a code is an administrative action or a criminal action in which we have the authority, whether it's under an ordinance. There's certain things we can or cannot do. If we have the authority to go and do it, there's no reason why we won't. Ordinances we enforce, laws we enforce. But if it's an administrative code, not at this particular point. So that I would refer to our legal counsel to determine which ones that you may have information on versus what we
Please do
believe
that
they
for
are.
the conversation, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Okay.
Anything else, Commissioner Sumner? All right, thank you. I want to be real careful about having the undersheriff up, but I could tell he was not going, my gut was telling me he was not going to truly rebut the gentleman, because we do not do that. When somebody comes up with citizens, they have the right to their opinion. We want to make sure that there's not a rebuttal issue that occurs. And I thought about it long and hard, because I know he did one, but I didn't think he was going to rebut. I thought he would just give us information on what they're doing, and I think we made the right choice. But if not, feel free to contact me, let me know online, or others in the commission can as well. With that being said, is there anybody else who would like to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will move on to item number 6, which is the adoption of the agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I move the Board of County Commissioners adopt the agenda as presented today.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the adoption of the agenda as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Item number 7, approval of the minutes.
Chair, I move that we approve the November 2nd and 9th, 2015 briefing meeting minutes.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded for the approval of the November 2nd and 9th, 2015 briefing minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Next up is our approval of our action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda may be enacted by one motion unless a commissioner or citizen requests the item be removed from the action agenda and considered as a separate item. We will go ahead and reach each of these items to you and give you the opportunity after we do to ask a question that may help you to make that decision. If you would like to testify, please go ahead and have it taken off the agenda. You'll be given your opportunity to testify at that time. With that being said, Commissioner Sheldon, will you read 8.1 through 8.4? I will read 8.5 through 8.10. And Commissioner Jeffries, if you will read 8.11 through 8.14.
Mr. Chairman, 8.1 begins approval of the agreement between the Washington State Department of Ecology and Mason County Sheriff's Office for the Waste to Resources Community Litter Program for litter and illegal dump cleanup and prevention project. The agreement dates are July 1, 2015 to June 30, 2017 for a total of amount up to $81,553. 8.2 approval for the county engineer to execute the supplemental agreement number 1 to the agreement with Berger ABAM for additional task in projection inspection not to exceed $268,562 for Hunter Creek Bridge project, County Road Project 1829. 8.3 approval of Amendment 1 to the 2015 through 2017 Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery, DBHR, increasing from $147,159 to $192,125 as a result of new funds through the state dedicated marijuana account. And 8.4, approval of the contract with Washington State University Youth in Action. This contract is part of the work deliverable for the Division of Behavioral Health and Recovery 2015 through 2017 Mason County Contract number 1563-42486, which funds community prevention and wellness initiatives in Mason County.
Item number 8.5, approval of the Washington Early Learning Fund, EPA, Thrive Washington, for the Nurse Family Partnership Program. Item number 8.6, approval to schedule a public hearing for December 22nd, 2015 at 9:30 a.m. to consider an amendment to the Belfair UGA Plan, appendix to the Mason County Comprehensive Plan and the Belfair Urban Growth Area Zoning Map. Item number 8.7, approval to schedule a public hearing for December 22nd, 2015 at 9:30 a.m. to consider amendments to future land use map to expand a portion of the Shelton UGA boundary to include the eastern portion of the Port of Shelton's Oakland Bay Marina. Item number 8.8, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund application for food, $450, housing, $500, and for a total of $950 as recommended by the Veterans Service Office. Item number 8.9, approval to reappoint Richard Calvin and Stephanie Neal to the new 3-year term of office ending November 2018 and appoint Ed Huber to fill the balance of Jamie Garrettman's term on the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission. Item number 8.10, approval of warrants, claims clearing fund, warrant number 8032641-8033185 for the amount of $1,708,669.31. Direct deposit fund, warrant number 27071-27452 for the amount of $628,491.70. Salary clearing fund, warrant number 7001499-7001527 for the amount of $449,750,051. For a total of $2,786,911.52. Claims clearing fund year-to-date total, $33,944,594.61. Direct deposit year-to-date total, $13,740,238.68. Salary clearing fund year-to-date total, $14,499,714.67.
Item 8.11, approval of a 2-year interlocal agreement for fire investigation services between Mason County and the Mason County Fire Chiefs Association. The cost of this agreement shall not exceed $79,000 per year or $158,000 in total, unless agreed upon by all parties, and shall be administered through the Department of Community Development. 8.12, approval of the master agreement with Caseload Pro for a subscription-based comprehensive case management system that offers efficiency and security while providing full case monitoring and reporting case capabilities for juvenile court. 8.13, approval of award of public defense funds for 2016 from the State Office of Public Defense, OPD. This contract is for funding of $76,226 for use during 2016. Funds will be used according to the guidelines of OPD and shall be used for adding attorneys to reduce caseloads, increase attorney compensation, and provide attorney training. 8.14, approval to establish the limit for the narcotic investigation imprest account at $20,000.
Now that these have been read to the public, are there any items on here that you may have questions on that would help you to decide whether to take it off for a separate vote? Again, if you want to testify, we'll just take it off at that point. Yes.
Item 8.3, question?
What's your question, Commissioner?
Yeah, the marijuana dedicated funding, is that a statewide distribution and just Mason County share of that, or is that funds generated within the county?
I don't know that answer.
As far as I know, it's a statewide
Well,
distribution.
Lydia is
Lydia
fine.
can answer that. Go ahead.
Lydia?
Yeah, it's statewide monies that's coming down from the new marijuana dedicated fund, and different counties are being offered certain amounts of money.
Is this based on our sales here, or is this based on just a state? You
I
know
don't
either?
believe it has anything to do with our specific
Oh,
sales.
okay.
It's
There
statewide.
you go. Is there any other questions that would help you to?
I think, excuse me, I think it has to do with our population. I believe.
Just have a point of
Even
clar-
distribution.
I'm sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Point of clarification, 8.9, on the terms for the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission. I noticed posted on the bulletin board an opening for positions on this commission, and I just wanted to know if there are still openings in addition to these assignments, or if these assignments fill the commission.
Like we said.
If these are approved, then the commission will be full at this time.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
On item 8.4, I believe that is University of Washington program, just as a point of clarification.
Youth in Action. Can you tell us about Lydia?
It's WSU, it's Washington State University.
I'll look
Ladies
that
and
up.
gentlemen,
Sorry.
he is our Washington State University representative. Have a little fun with it. Is there any other questions that would help
Well,
you decide whether?
he's been a little confused because of the football game.
Yeah.
You know, defense hit them pretty hard, and they're just still a little confused.
Rub it in.
Starting to kind of get back into the...
And for the record, in the last meeting, I took WSU and I got smacked. Commissioner Sheldon beat me to death on that one.
That's because we lost our quarterback.
Yeah, I still was hoping. I still had hope. Is there any other questions that would help you decide whether to take something off for a separate vote?
This doesn't answer your question. Can I just read from the contract regarding the marijuana allocation? They define the dedicated marijuana account, or DMA, means revenue generated by the taxation of retail marijuana as a result of the implementation of Initiative 502, as authorized by the state legislature in a bill that was passed this year, 2136. So it doesn't say specifically, but it is the retail sales tax at the state's portion of it. The county's portion of the sales tax on this is fortunately not obligated, or what's the word I want? We get to use it how we want. These are in the bill, or in the I-502 itself. There was to be dedicated monies for the prevention of the use of this very predatory stuff.
Are there any further questions? Hearing none, is there any items that anybody in the public would like taken off for a separate vote? Commissioners, any items you'd like taken off for a separate vote? And I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve items 8.1 through 8.14 on today's action agenda.
I'll second the motion, Mr. Chairman.
It has been moved and seconded for the approval of the full action agenda, item number 8.1 through 8.14. Is there any discussion? I have one. Commissioner Sheldon kind of let everybody in on one when you were not here. It's kind of a little inside joke for us. That's why I read it this time. I have purposely, for the last year, had you reading whenever you were here present. I don't know if you've noticed that. Commissioner Jeffries did, because you wanted all these different things added onto it. I always agreed with you, and perhaps in the future.
The year-to-date totals.
Yeah, all the year-to-date totals.
All right.
So I had a little fun with you, and I just wanted to share it with you so that so you could take advantage of me in a future one on that.
Yeah, I'll try to do that.
I thought it was only fair. But we've enjoyed it very much, and with that being said, is there any further discussion? All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. There are no public hearings set, so that brings us up to item number 10, which is other business, department heads and elected officials. Are there any department heads who would like to speak at this time? Good man.
Morning, Commissioners. Justin Smith with WSU Extension. I just wanted to give a reminder out to the public that today at 6 o'clock in the Eleanor Room at Mason General, we'll be having our Ag Entrepreneurial Program business training. We'll be covering marketing your ag business, and going over some survey data that we've collected that show consumer demand for local and direct marketing of foods in Washington State. All are welcome to attend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other department heads who would like to speak at this time? Elected officials? Hearing none?
Yes.
Yes, that was something else I did. Okay. Then we will move on to board reports and calendars. Who would like to go first?
I'll be happy to. So last week, last week we had briefings on Monday, budget workshops following that, and then Tuesday the 24th had a Memorial Hall Committee meeting and got a estimate for refurbishing the interior of that hall. Had another budget workshop, Board of Health meeting, and then a commission meeting in the evening. The public hearing on the levy rate for 2016. Had a meeting of the Hood Canal Coordinating Council, Integrated Watershed Planning Steering Committee to approve or make recommendations to the full council on near-term actions for the next 2 years of preservation of the canal. We had our Thanksgiving holiday, and then came back to work here Monday with briefings all day yesterday, and then a budget workshop in the afternoon. Following today's commission meeting, we'll have another budget workshop, and then this evening is the recital at Transit Community Center of this new Scoop and Corral led by Matthew Blaken, who's back at it. It's a multi-generational, and I have four family members singing this evening, 7 o'clock at the TCC. Tomorrow we'll have the Oakland Bay Advisory Committee, Clean Water District, and then the Area Agency on Aging Advisory Committee, and then a meeting with the Mental Health Courts Task Force or stakeholder group. And then meeting with the Community Action Council with our housing program coordinator about teaming together on some housing opportunities, low-income housing opportunities in the county. And then we will have a meeting Thursday of our Mason Transit Authority General Manager evaluation. And then there'll be a ribbon cutting of the El Serape's new cantina. And then I'll be meeting with City Commissioner Tracy Moore. We have an infrastructure prioritization meeting on Friday with the EDC leading that charge. And then I'll be meeting with a member of the community who works in court services, something we briefed on yesterday. And then this weekend is the most magical weekend in Mason County, and that is our holiday magic. And so Friday night is tree lighting and Railroad Avenue, and the stores stay open, and please go down and support them, and then the parade on Saturday. And then back here for briefings on Monday, and a public hearing on the budget.
Thank you, Commissioner. Of course, we do this to comply with the Open Meetings Act, and let people know where we're going to be. If more than 2 commissioners will be there, it would be a public meeting. Commissioner Jeffries mentioned a lot of the budget workshop meetings we've had, and I think we have another one today, just at 10 o'clock, I think. Hopefully. I did have an opportunity to talk to some people with Sierra Pacific last week. I think things are coming along with their permitting pretty well. There's always challenges, but they are a very organized group and are working real hard on getting the mill going again down on the waterfront. I had a chance yesterday, as I mentioned, to meet with some members of the Port of Allen Commission and their executive director, and talked about the Sergeant's Oyster House that's been moved from the WDF property, I think it is, to Port of Allen, and we're talking about some possibilities in the capital budget or other funding sources to secure that building in its final resting spot over the water, and have a very, I think, productive tourist attraction that adds a lot to the Allen area. We've worked hard, as I mentioned, on the budget items as we're getting closer to passing that. I'll spend some time with the PUD Association this week as their annual meeting, and wanted to mention too. Let's see, there was another item. I guess that's it. As we get up till next week, I do have a meeting with a couple of tribes in the local community here too as well. So, just to mention on that, to follow up on that, at one of the openings over at Squawks Lab, I did talk to the members of the tribal council, and more than several would like to have another meeting with our commission, and I pass that on to Diane, and I think she's working on a mutual time where we can get together and talk about our 2 local governments and some of the issues that we share, particularly about land that we still hold title to on the island. So that's an issue they'd like to resolve.
Thank you. Before I get started on that, Commissioner and Senator, I want to let the public know that it is a great benefit at times to be able to sit back in my chair, lean back and say, Senator, there's a need for the capital budget for our hub center up in Belfair. They're having financial problems to finish up, and it's quite a huge benefit to be leaning back in my chair.
That's the senior center?
Yes.
Yeah.
And look back at you and express that to you just that quickly. It's like having your own lobbyist. And so I just wanted to point that out. It is a benefit, regardless of how anybody else wants to look at it. I appreciate that part very greatly. Let's see, I met with Derek Kilmer. I met with the North Mason Chamber of Commerce luncheon, Alliance of Healthy South Sound. Traveled to Dorado to talk to some business owners that are, again, looking at expanding what they're doing again. I went to a Kiwanis meeting in Hoodsport to be supportive of Tom Davis's work with the veterans. I wanted to go, and besides that, he's always been in the audience getting us. It was nice to have an opportunity to look him in the eye while he was speaking and time doing these things, and I actually got a big kick out of that. I'm pretty positive I made it very uncomfortable, which was kind of fun.
Was that your goal?
Partially, yeah, but it was also supporting the veterans, but I gotta admit, I took advantage of that and had fun with it. Let's see, had a community breakfast on Thanksgiving morning up in North Mason with North Mason Community Resources. Had I met with some contractors in regards to some of the traffic issues did that on Thanksgiving as well. For some reason, everybody wanted to talk on Thanksgiving. Then we had our briefings, we had budget, I had a left board meeting this morning. Coming up this next week, I have, let's see, we have a budget workshop after this. I have a meeting with realtors. We have a contractor in regards to a large building in Belfair, which I'm not allowed to discuss at the moment, but it would be a tourism aspect, and it's something pretty big, and I'm really hoping we pull that off. Washington State University Marketing, I intend to be there tonight. I'm hoping to. I have that on my calendar. Park board meeting, EDC regulatory subcommittee meeting. The sheriff has their citizens breakfast. I'm going to try to attend that one. Women's ours are having a Christmas picnic or party. We have briefings, a port meeting on the agenda as well, and somehow I did not get the EDC Friday event. I don't know how I missed that, but we'll both probably be attending that. I may have erased it because every time they set that up, it's not been happening, so I may have erased the one time it really is. With that being said, that brings us back to our briefings and budget on Monday, and then back to our regular meeting. Is there anything further? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Chair, I move that we adjourn.
Second the motion. We are adjourned. Merry Christmas, everybody. I'm going to be saying that from now on, so deal with it.